Hello everybody, welcome to another stream of the probably most hated gacha game right now. No, most being hated on by just the pure quantity of people hating on it, gacha game. And as you saw yesterday, I do not agree for now. And also didn't play enough to have a very long-term based opinion, but the first impression was very good. So why are people hating on it? I think the main reason is because people are idiots, as always. So there might be valid criticism somewhere, but for now the criticism is basically, hey, I played for 2 hours. I don't like the game because XYZ. And the reasons XYZ often are, oh, there's no open world exploration, oh, there's no elemental direct synergies, oh, the combat system is too simple, but I didn't even play any of the other characters than the default ones, which are the first ones, I guess, a bit more simpler than the later ones. We saw that as soon as we pulled, it was a bit more complex, right? So, basically people that are in the tutorial are complaining about the game not competing with games they've played for probably hundreds of hours by now. And I don't know what to tell you guys. If you don't enjoy a game, you don't have to play it, obviously. And you can also give your feedback if you want to, but maybe do it in a, meaningful way. The meaningful way in this case would definitely be to actually acknowledge that you have no idea what you're talking about because you didn't play the game, right? After 2 hours, it's like if you saw an IGN review that's like, I played 2 hours of the game, I hate it, 2 out of 10, people would meme on it, right? They would make fun of it. And now you're being those guys, right? Just imagine that situation. Playing 2 hours and making fun of something for it is it can be instantly really, really bad, right? That's definitely the case. You can instantly not like something. That's perfectly fine, like a negative first impression. But I don't think Genshin Impact, right? ZZZ here feels the bill here. And you know that I'm very critical of games. Very critical. I'm one of the most critical and autistic persons when it comes to gaming. So whenever the game becomes shit, I'll let you know. Okay? Deal? If the game's shit, I'll let you know. Don't worry about it. And if I never play enough to really have an opinion on that game, I will tell you, right? I told you I don't know what I would rate the game. It's way too soon for that. I just can tell you it has been a positive first impression. And there are a lot of things it does better than Genshin. I never played Withering Waves because I hate the art style. And I think it was too much in the Genshin Impact from the base idea of the game. And that's why I actually appreciate this game not trying to emulate Genshin Impact or Withering Waves or whatever gacha that's an open world exploration based game, which this one is not, right? And there are things I will not argue about. The game is better made than Genshin when it comes to visual quality. The character animations are better, the cloth physics is better, the polygon count is better. I would say the character designs are more varied. You might not like the style, but they definitely are more varied. And yeah, everything is these are things that are objectively better, right? Or quote unquote objectively, but polygon count is something you can literally count, right? So yeah. Also, you can pet a fucking cat. So, can you pet a dog in Genshin? Maybe no, you can actually, I don't know, but it's yeah, like I said, I bought off stream, I bought this pass, which is the only thing I'm gonna buy for I guess the time being. As always, I will start with small money investments, and I usually don't tend to spend too much in the end, but I usually like to spend a little bit because I do think supporting games you like is perfectly fine. Overspending and gacha FOMO, whatever, we talked about that yesterday, right? Yeah, your main criticism of this game should be, if you're a Genshin fan, should be towards Hoyoverse. Why the fuck are a lot of things that are in this game not in Genshin Impact? Why does Genshin Impact not have unlocked FPS? Why does Genshin Impact have way worse character models? Especially for NPCs? Why does Genshin Impact not support controller in the main menu? Why does Genshin Impact, right? I could continue this on and on and on. Why, right? Why are these things bad? That's what you should be thinking about. You shouldn't be thinking about this game if you like Genshin. You should see what this game does better than Genshin and ask why is it not in Genshin. Obviously not the same game, so you should see the things that are similar and ask MiHoYo or HoYoverse, why is it not there? Things that should be there, obviously, right? So this is why I think you are misdirecting your hate towards the game. I know what you're upset about. You're upset about that the game is getting more love in some regards than Genshin from the MiHoYo, but you want them to put it into Genshin. So you're like shitting on the game for not liking it, for being different or whatever. But I don't know how you can actually be literally playing this game free to play and just assume you didn't play a bunch of other games first and not like it, right? How can you not like the first impression the game gives you? I mean, I know you can't, it's subjective, obviously, but just like from an objective point of view, the game is well made at the start and there's no indication that it's trash, right? Because people are calling it trash, bad, awful, and whatever. They're not talking about it's okay, right? They're talking about it's shit. There's a big difference, right? And after 2 hours selling this game is shit, I don't know. It's not shit, right? It's definitely not shit. And yeah, and also obviously reviews from IGN and Destructor and all those, they're all like in the, at least 8 as I saw so far. So there is like a positive sentiment from reviewers that actually finished the game, quote unquote, like finished the current content and storyline. And yeah, just, you know, just hold on it. And now, you know, obviously there's Wuthering Waves and there are people that have something called like, I don't know what you call it exactly, but it's like some kind of investment into games. Like I said, if you think you're going to play Genshin your entire life, you're mistaken. You're probably not going to play it your entire life, and pulling for a 5-star and investing maybe even real money, in quote unquote investing, is not a lifetime investment. You are playing the game, right? So there are going to be other games that are going to divert your attention and whatever. So there's a lot of reasons why I think it's actually going to be, you know, a lot of people, just young people especially, that are like, oh yeah, I need my XYZ and whatever. And also if you think like something has to have grown-up themes to be fun, you're a kid. I'm sorry, right? As a grown-up, you actually realize that yes, grown-up themes can be fun, but also it doesn't have to be in everything, right? There are a lot of fun things in life that don't involve like killing, swearing, and I mean sex too, right? So you can definitely have fun without those things. Obviously I don't mind them being in games, but I don't think they're mandatory. And if you think they're mandatory for you to feel cool about playing a game because it's edgy enough for you, I think you've hit that phase where you're actually very childish in your mind and think you should be more grown up, but you actually don't realize what that fucking means, right? The world isn't about, I mean, there is a lot of killing and whatever going on in the world, but the world is not about killing and fucking and, you know, all those things every day. So yeah. So enjoy your, you know, your games for having fun and not for having themes you actually care about. I think this game has an amazing theme, just from a setting perspective. It's very unique, it's very fun, and obviously if you're a kid, you don't know why it's themed that way, because you don't know the technologies behind it, right? Because you don't know what you know, what is this thing she has here? What is a cassette tape? What is right? It's maybe actually the game is interesting enough, more targeted, I guess, to older people, because it actually has a retro theme. So yeah, in my opinion, this is actually something interesting, right? And yeah, so I don't know, just, you know, and if you want to have an opinion on the game, really care about, you know, evaluating it, you must spend more time with it. It's literally useless if you tell me after 1 hour you didn't enjoy it. That's like, yeah, sure, the first impression maybe you didn't like it, but that doesn't tell me anything about the game. So many games are shit at the start. I mean, this one isn't, by the way. This one is good, I think, at the start, but even if it was shit for the first hour, that wouldn't mean shit in the long run. Right? This is a game you're meant to be playing for a long time, at least like a little bit of a long time, like, I mean, maybe half a year to a year or something, compared to a lot of games you just play for, I mean, maybe a few weeks. And the first impression, sure, is very important, but it doesn't really, you know, a lot of people argue from first impressions immediately to late game stuff like how does the combat system feel, how much skill do I need, blah, blah, blah. And hey, you're playing a fucking gacha game. You better be happy it doesn't require too much skill, because as soon as you put too much skill in gacha games, you're instantly getting into the fucking pay-to-win territory very quickly for a lot of people. So gacha games should definitely be more casual. I don't mind them having challenge, obviously. I don't like full auto games too much. But I think like expecting a game like Dark Souls, which is not that difficult, but still for a lot of people it is, and then having pay-to-win mechanics, and that is just like, it is not a good fit, right? I think like you're really coming from the wrong place if you think that is actually the way the game should work. I mean, obviously you want to be challenged maybe, then maybe these types of games aren't for you, honestly, because neither Genshin, probably also not Wuthering Waves, what I've seen, nor this game is going to be a very big challenge for very proficient gamers, right? If you really want to challenge, just play competitive games or literally any game that is designed to really be challenging, which there are not a lot of, I admit, if you're like really into competitive stuff, but definitely gacha games are not the way I would go for that. You're just falling into a very, very dangerous trap that literally could lead you to just spending money to beat stuff at the end. Because when you summon an Elden Ring, summoning would literally be the same as summoning characters in Genshin here in this game and other gacha games for money. Just imagine all the Ashes of War in Elden Ring costing money. This is what you get if it would be a gacha game. So yeah, definitely you should be very, very, I mean, if you summon, right? I don't summon, obviously. But if you do, you would quickly be there, right? So who is this game for? This game is for people that enjoy the art style it presents, that enjoy the characters it has, and they're different from others. They're very diverse, right? The characters we have so far. Here, and look at them, right? Just compare this to Genshin. Already these characters here, these two, and this one, they're so different, right? These are the ones we start with. They're all very, very different, right? So, and there are obviously way more of them. I'm not gonna look at them all because I don't want to spoil them, but look, they're very different and unique. So, yeah, you can dislike them, obviously, right? But you can't argue that there is a diverse cast, and if that's what you're into, that's already good, right? That's the baseline, the characters that are interested you. Then you have the world setting, which you can like or dislike. I would argue this is something actually I think most people would like. And it's they're like anime haters, but why are you playing an anime-themed game then? I don't really know. I mean, it's a valid criticism, obviously, if you like the gameplay and you don't like the art style. But still, this game obviously is targeted at anime and anime-themed enjoyers, right? And also there is the focus on definitely like a visual novel style combined with cutscenes and like mini-game traversal into quick combat encounters. So it's not an open world exploration game. So that's what the game, I think, is in its core. And if that's not what you're looking for, you can find that out in fucking 10 seconds, bro. You don't even need to download the game. If you think like the main appeal of these games for you is exploring an open world, you know it's not for you. So why would you fucking care? So if you're into the combat and you don't like the combat system for whatever reason, which could be a valid concern. I mean, it's hard to tell, obviously, if you start out. But yeah, you can do a high-level analysis and whatever, and maybe it's just not for you. Okay, that's fine, right? But usually you will either need someone to have played a lot and listen to their opinion and understand it, or just like play it literally yourself for more time. So I can't judge the combat system right now. All I can tell you is in the details are very complex, but that doesn't mean that you have to actually pay attention to that, right? That's one of the big fallacies people make. They think a complex combat system automatically leads to complex inputs during combat. That's not actually true. And you can make a very challenging game with minimal input. For example, like Souls-likes are like the base example for minimal input, but still challenge, right? You can basically dodge an attack if you like dumb it down, block an attack, whatever you want to call it. So that's like very basic, but still people call those games like challenging, right? Because they are challenging in a different way, not from the input perspective. And this game definitely has like very complex character descriptions and like minute design, and just like reading it takes a lot of time, and understanding the nuances of the combat system too takes a lot of time. It's way more complex than the Genshin Impact, but that doesn't mean the inputs have to be. And if you look at Genshin Impact, let's be real, how does the average Abyss fight go? Elemental burst, elemental skill, rotation, over and over and over again, and then you have dodging, right? That's what you do. And that is challenging enough for most people, I assume, because you still, you requires quite a lot of inputs, and you still have to do the timing, you have to dodge, whatever. And why is it irrelevant though? Because the game is so fucking easy. So you can just face roll literally every content without actually optimal rotation or whatever. So you could argue that Genshin Impact is the prime example of a simple combat system that then gets more complex by adding more characters, but every character in and of itself is kind of simple. And then the challenge is from the enemies and you dodge, but then the stats are so OP that it doesn't matter anymore. And that's basically gonna happen in most gacha games. Why? Because gacha games want you to pull for characters and get stronger and feel strong. Nobody wants to pull for an S tier character and getting shit on, right? It's like basically, it is literally pay to win, but pay to feel good too, right? So you don't want to feel bad. So that's why these games will never have extreme challenges in most cases, because they're designed around you being happy with your purchase, right? So that's why you can't expect this game to be super challenging. So if you're looking for a challenge, it's the completely wrong genre. There might be one that's going to come out, but it's going to be hardcore pay to win for most people. Because, spoilers, most people are kind of bad at games, right? If they're really challenging, they get really bad fast. And it's really hard. It's really easy to make a game very challenging and almost impossible for 99% of the player base. It's very easy to design. So if you're in such a game, it will be very, very difficult for the devs to balance it out without actually a lot of people having to resort to pay to win. But it is really bad for these games to be very challenging. So I don't mind a good challenge, but I definitely think the average challenge of these games should be low, and there should be an optional mode maybe that is challenging but doesn't give more rewards, right? But that is a different story then. And there is an optional mode in this game that actually doesn't give more rewards, but I don't think it's that challenging either. So I actually don't know. It's kind of... I don't know about that aspect for now, but I think the base combat is definitely well made, and there is like a unique twist on it, and I think it does the character rotation system nicely, and the first impression is nice, right? But I also like that it has some sort of parry and slow motion dodge system, so the base system is good. And now you're gonna say, yeah, but what does it matter? I'm just pushing an attack over and over again. It's so boring. Yeah, maybe you're doing that right now, because you're playing the fucking tutorial, bitch, against enemies that are literally meant to be punching bags for you to learn the inputs. But who knows, right? Even if it's not in the game right now, this system alone, like I argued, you can take a simple system in Elden Ring and Souls-like and make it very challenging just by having different enemy patterns. And if the devs ever want you to get shit on, I swear to you, it is so easy to use this combat system with a challenging enemy design and make an amazing fun combat, right? You can do that. The base is here. The combat is not stiff and stupid. It's literally good enough for me to now, even after this short amount of time, to know that you can extrapolate it by actually adding challenging enemies, and people will have a fun and good time with the combat system, for sure. So yeah, that's my first impression. And I think like a lot of people are more hating on games these days in a genre that's getting more and more competition, just because there is more competition and they have some kind of, I don't know, retarded investment into games. Just from my perspective, I stopped playing Genshin Impact, right? I'm not a big fan of like how Hoyoverse treated Genshin Impact. I found it very sad how little they invest into that after making so much money with it. Like a lot of issues, right? Never unlocked FPS, never like increased the character model quality and all these things, right? Just like basic stuff that never was worked on, like never good controls or mouse switching support. You can't even navigate the main menu with a controller, whatever, right? It is really sad, right? And then also there's censorship. I'm like anti-child gacha games anyway, and all those things, right? I'm very, very anti in a lot of ways. But I'm still playing this game and being happy with it, right? And the reason why I'm playing this game and not Wuthering Waves, which are like... Because Wuthering Waves, for me, was like, oh, it's trying to be Genshin, but different. And I like the art style less, and I also like... I don't have the interest in another Genshin Impact. That's the reason why I didn't play it. It's not because I'm a fucking Hoyoverse MiHoYo fan, right? I'm literally one of the, I think, biggest criticizers of a lot of things, but I do realize what stuff they do good, right? So I'm like really, really upfront about what I don't like. I'm also really upfront about what I do like, right? So yeah, and taking the opinion on this game so far for me is basically like not being a fanboy or anything. I just like this setting more than Wuthering Waves. I like the idea of not having to explore the fucking open world for 100 times again. And you might be like, oh, but there are not a lot of games like that. No, not true, because you don't play other games. You're just a free-to-play player. I'm not just talking about, obviously there are a lot of you that do, but there's the person that argues like that. He just like plays free-to-play games. Yeah, there are not that many of those. That's true in free-to-play terms. But if you play Elden Ring, if you play Zelda, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Horizon Zero Dawn, Ghost of Tsushima, and Assassin's Creed Origins, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and you know, Odyssey, and blah blah blah, Avatar here and there, and suddenly, oh wait, there's a fuck ton of games where you can explore open worlds. Oh, whoops. I mean, they might not be anime themed. Oh yeah, also Spider-Man and whatever. There's a bunch of shit out there. It's not a new invention. Genshin didn't invent shit, right? Genshin had a cool like combination of elements, but these elements are prevalent in so many games. And if you play other games, You have a ton of that. I don't need it from Genshin, right? The reason why I got bored of Genshin wasn't, by the way, the open world exploration, was all the like boring, endless cutscenes with a story I don't give a shit about, and also the main character in Paimon, which is like a shit in my opinion. They're just like the female main character is like garbage, and unlikable, and I don't know. This is like for me personally, very subjective. Obviously, everything I say is subjective, and like everything in life, right? So yeah, basically I think the main problem is that people are just like coming into this game, shitting on it for no reason, and I think you're not being constructive, you're not helping. If you have a problem with the game because it does stuff you would have wished Genshin Impact to have, you should phrase it that way, right? And if you think the game is different from Wuthering Waves, it is. It's not the same game. It's not meant to be the same game. It's literally a different style of game. So yeah, I think that you can compare similarities, but bro, if you don't like the fucking exploration aspect of Wuthering Waves, but you like combat in a similar vein, it doesn't matter if you say Wuthering Wave late game combat is better than this game. First of all, you never played late game combat in this game, so you don't know, probably, but most of you. And the reason why I think it's very important to mention that is because some people don't want to walk around 10 hours doing meaningless mini-game interactions, which is basically the exploration of Breath of the Wild and and Genshin. I think Genshin more than Breath of the Wild, but Breath of the Wild does it more organically. Genshin at the start too, but now it's like very mini-gamey. There's like a lot of like just like mechanics for the sake of mechanics. I think that's very boring and a lot of them aren't even intuitive anymore. So I think like that's, if you don't want that, but just the combat part, which is why a lot of people just do domains over and over, I think this streamlined version that really focuses on that is what you want, right? If you're not the target audience for that, that's fine. Doesn't make the game bad. There are a lot of games people don't like. It's not for games that are not for you that are really, really good, but they're not for you. And as I always argue, because that's the most important thing you have to realize, it's a game that's supposed to be fun. And if you don't like a game, it's your loss. It's literally your loss. If someone enjoys a game you don't enjoy, you're the bitch. That's how I always argue. If I don't enjoy a game you enjoyed, my loss. I'm fucked, right? Didn't have as much time with another crap's treasure as other people. Fuck me then, because I spent time and money on the game and I didn't enjoy it. Fuck me, right? But that doesn't make the game worse for other people, right? Or from an objective perspective. I mean, obviously, if I don't enjoy a game, often there is like some kind of objectiveness, like quote unquote wrongness with the game in some regards. So I do try to argue from that perspective often. And since I'm very, I have a high sense like of scrutiny and detail orientation in a lot of things. So I'm like really, very, very focused on details which might not bother other people. So I do often enjoy games less or more than other people. So I have like often very something obviously there's like also like I enjoy games that other people enjoy too, but I might enjoy them less or more for reasons which are not very common, because I do pay attention to many details which are irrelevant for most people, right? So that's why I think every time I don't enjoy a game, I'm like, I'm sad. A lot of people enjoyed this game. I couldn't enjoy it. Dave the Diver. A lot of people loved the game. Has a curl up with Nikkei currently. Didn't enjoy it as much. It was okay, but it just wasn't for me, right? And you have to realize that not all games are meant to be played by you. And even if you don't like the game, yes, your personal rating can be, I didn't like the game, but that does not make the game bad in general. If 99.9% of people love a game, and you're among the people that don't like it, your opinion is valid not to like it, but that doesn't make the game objectively bad for everyone. And a lot of people are arguing that like this game is going to be not fun for a lot of people. And I disagree. This game is going to be fun to a lot of people. I think this game is overwhelmingly going to be positive for people that play it and are not going into it like, just pulled on a 5-star in Genshin. Just invested my entire allowance into pulling it. Wuthering Waves after Genshin. Now, yeah, I spent so many hours grinding there. I have my set roster of characters. There's a new game. I'm really worried that I should have spent my time and money there instead, which you couldn't because it's like in the past, but still, right? And then you have like some investment into something, and then you go into this game and you just want to make it bad because you have like some kind of psychological issue admitting that sometimes, a new thing can come out and you actually want to play it. And it's okay to play it even though you invested a lot of time, right? That's the MMO fallacy, what I would say. Like, it's like when you play WoW for 10 years and then there's a new MMO a lot of people are super critical about it, and they're like immediately it's like the WoW killer, blah blah blah. Oh, look, but it's actually not that great, and whatever, blah blah blah. And the reason why a lot of people do stick to World of Warcraft is not because it's the better game, but it's a game that they're accustomed to, right? Your brain works in a way that things it knows, it gets a lot of connections with, which are usually with games like positive, might also be sometimes negative, but you definitely have like this attachment, right? And everybody that has the delusion they don't have an attachment to that, you're just delusional, or your brain is not functioning like a normal human brain, which is, by the way, fine, but very rare, right? And usually everyone has attachments. And if you hate on new things, just think, is it like from a perspective of actual criticism? Or is it from the perspective of me being a little bitch because I spent money and time in another game, which I like, and I really don't want it to die because another game comes out and might, devalue my, time in the other game just because I really care what other people think about the game, right? If everyone drops Genshin Impact and starts playing ZZZ, for example, just a hypothetical, which is not going to happen, but just in theory, if everyone is quitting Genshin Impact for ZZZ, but you're among those people that really like Genshin, it's going to feel bad, right? You're alone now and nobody's there anymore. Your friends aren't talking about it, right? So there's obviously some emotional attachment in some people. And I think a lot of these arguments are very, very unconstructive hate and not really a criticism of the game. And these arguments are basically often also in not bad faith necessarily, but they do lead to bad faith seeming comments. Because, and that's what we really criticize about game journalists, and we make fun of them for it if it happens. And now a lot of people are being like that. And that's, I think, is because these games are targeted as a very immature audiences, just like, a lot of free-to-play games, especially like these types of games. The community is very, very immature, which is why we're getting a lot of, discussions. And every community, it is literally every community has like some kind of bias, right? There's this like Souls community, for example. Souls community has certain expectations, they have to be met, otherwise the game is not up to their standards, and everybody has like this group mentality, which is normal. We're social beings, right? It's normal to have a group mentality, but just be mindful of if something new comes out and the group mentality evolves around certain aspects which you might personally not care about. Because see, your goal, I'm going to tell you why I'm talking to this to such an extent, because I think a lot of people are getting this feeling that they are not allowed to enjoy this game, and that it's like kind of I need some, because you need affirmation. You're a social being, right? Not everybody's like a giga chat and can just say fuck you guys, your opinion doesn't matter, you didn't play long, and I'm not like, I'm gonna try it myself, I'm gonna try to find out if I like it and all those things, right? Not everybody's like giga chat like that. A lot of human beings are very, very prone to actually being reliant on the opinion on others to find out if also find enjoyment in things, right? If everybody's literally telling you, hey, the game is fucking garbage, and you're not able to say, hey, I like the game, even though you like to be not the group player, which is usually socially very difficult, right? It is very difficult to be the person. Imagine you're in a village comprised of maybe 10 people, and 9 people say, no, I wanna do X, Y, Z. And you say, oh, but I really don't want to do X, Y, Z. I want to do, I don't know, A or B. And then those people will usually say, yeah, okay, maybe they're even nice. Yeah, okay, you can do that, but we're still going to do our thing. And you're free to do your thing on your own. And what it does is basically causes like problems from a survival evolutionary perspective, where you are going to be the guy that's left alone outside the group. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, is the internet is kind of like a village, only with too many people in it and too many discerning opinions. So what we tend to do is just like, we try to really find a common ground with a community, especially when it comes to games. The common ground is basically your opinion on a game, right? There are not a lot of people online that will be willing to go on Reddit and tell you that they like a game a lot of other people dislike. I had that exact moment happen with Forspoken. Forspoken was one of the games, I think is one of the best games I played, period. It's one of the best games. I mean, I played so many games, so there are a lot of best games, quote unquote, because I really don't have like a really ranking. But Forspoken in the way I played it with my settings, right? I played it as a third-person shooter on mouse and keyboard on a high-end system with completely remapped controls, custom scripts for things. I literally changed the game, right? And I can really agree that if you play the game as a non-target, an auto-target third-person game on a bad system without any modifications to the controls, it's not a good game. It can be, I mean, at least but it has the potential with some tweaks to the settings to become amazing, right? So the thing is, my opinion obviously was very different, but there I knew why. But then there are obvious, but still it made it very difficult to actually argue in favor or against certain things, because people are going to be very offended by it. And you're not going to go on Reddit and post a thread that's going to get like 10,000 downvotes because you know people are not of your opinion. Usually what you're going to do is just shut the fuck up or pretend you like something, because that's what you do if you want to survive, right? And the reason why I'm not like that is because, I don't know, my brain is wired like that. I don't give a shit usually if people dislike my opinion. I'm just going to be honest and tell you what I think, right? So even if the main theme of this game, oh my god, there's a ball you can move. That's cool. Yeah, small details like that, right? That matters to me. I just like that you can actually tell they care about the world building. And yeah, I just think it's very, very important to realize that there is like a difference between your personal opinion and the opinion you share because other people share the opinion. It's very important. And you are allowed to enjoy a game that others don't. If you enjoy ZZZ, you win. The others lose. You're the winner, right? A lot of people think of people that enjoy bad games as losers. Because they're like, look, this guy, he spent so much money on shit, Asia Grinder, haha, what an idiot. No, but the reality is, I mean, okay, he spent a lot of money maybe, but if he didn't spend money and, you know, enjoys the game, you didn't enjoy, doesn't matter if the game's shit or not from an objective point of view, because you literally lost. If you don't enjoy a new game, and maybe even spend time or like mental resources researching the game, whatever, you already invested a little bit in it, and you don't enjoy it, you lost. You're the loser. I mean, not in a bad way, but you're literally the guy that lost compared to the guys who enjoy it, right? And a person that can enjoy things you can't, won in that regard, right? So it's very, very important to realize that this discussion and hating on something, you're just doing that to like either like devalue something to feel good about, like affirmation for your opinion, maybe if you really don't like it, or you're literally just like, you know, bashing on it as a like social hurt thing. And the ones I'm really like trying to reach out to is actually the people that do enjoy the game, that feel like, oh, but if everybody hates it, it must be bad, right? There are people like, I mean, okay, maybe I phrased it a bit like offensively. What I mean by that is actually, I don't want to make you sound like you're a bitch or whatever, but the reason why I'm saying that, because there are people that are not like strong enough mentally to enjoy something without other people allowing them to enjoy it, right, in some way. And a lot of people fall under that category. So here it is. My opinion is, if you enjoy something you want, enjoy whatever the fuck you enjoy. Enjoy playing Elden Ring the way you want. If you want to play with a shield and poke, if you want to summon, if you want to do whatever the fuck you want, and this is what you enjoy, fucking do it, right? It's a video game. It's meant to be fun. And if you're not having fun, you're lost. But shut the fuck up and don't hate on the game for no reason. If you have constructive criticism, obviously always talk about it. But just pointless shitting on stuff is fucking stupid. And you're just ruining the game for people that are not mentally strong enough to actually literally handle these criticisms, right? Because you might think, I'm not hurting anybody, I'm just stating that I don't like the game. It's my opinion. Haha, I played 2 hours and I think it's shit, right? And you might think that's fine and useful to state, but it's not. It's very, very unuseful. And it might lead to people that would literally enjoy the game to maybe not giving the game a chance, or like feeling bad about playing it because they're like, you know, feeling peer pressure basically. But yeah, which is not which not everybody can overcome easily. You might say, hey, just you know, don't care, right? But that's not the reality. So you're just being a little bitch and not adding any value to any constructive criticism we might have about the game or not, right? Any constructive criticism, even if I disagree, I can admit it's constructive criticism. But for now, I've seen a lot of people complaining about the genre of the game, which is not open world exploration, complaining about the art style, that it's bad. Guys, come on. The art style, even if you don't like it, it is well made. It might not be to your liking, but it's well made. The animations are very good. the physics look great on the characters, right? Let's just look at how she walks around, how the physics work and the wiggle and everything, right? If you look at, I already showed it before, but just look at the characters, right? How they're like animated. If you look at them, right? How you go through the skills and you get the different animation things. If you go back, you get even a different one. This is well made. If you're blind and can't see that, I'm sorry, but this could be a fucking furry with a big dick fucking another furry in the ass, which I'm not into at all, right? I would still admit it looks well made, right? So you can look at a furry porn game on Steam and you can be like, yeah, that looks well made. If I was into furry porn, I would enjoy this, right? But I don't enjoy it because I'm not into furry porn. But these people are just literally just like dumb idiots that don't realize that like you not liking something doesn't make it bad. That's literally not how it works. It makes it bad for you personally, your loss, but it doesn't make it bad in general, right? But that's just what I mean. And yeah, we talked about it enough, but for sure, I wanted to, you know, make that point, you know, make that point, because I think it's very important to speak up when people are being little bitches about things, right? Obviously, sometimes really the outrage is justified, right? There's literally things you can be upset about, right? For example, Helldivers adding the Sony account sharing stuff was really dumb, and we should all be angry and hate on this decision, not the game and the devs, but the people who decided this, right? We can be negative about that. We can say, hey, you bitches, what are you doing, right? Fuck that, right? And or Genshin Impact, like you don't like the rewards they're giving you after a year, perfectly fine to be angry. If they give you nothing, they don't update the game in the way you like, you can be angry, right? You can voice your criticism, because it's like literally criticism at a thing. If something comes out and you have literally no valid criticism because you didn't play the game or you just don't like the style of game, there's no reason to go online and be like, I mean, that's like the problem is like it's a culture thing, right? Everybody, the thing now is hating on this game if you're like in the gacha game bubble, I guess. I mean, some content creators are probably smart enough to literally avoid that, but a lot of people are just like drama bitches. Why do you think XQC, Asmongold, and all these streamers are so big? I mean, there are a lot of reasons to that, but one of the reasons is because they do what like all the, you know, they're like basically social drama queens in a lot of ways. They do a lot of very divisive topics, and you know, they just like, they're literally like clickbaity people. If you watch Asmongold's video, the thumbnails, the titles, they're all clickbait. But the thing is, they're not really clickbait because he actually has good opinions on things and he also talks about the topics. But it's still all topics which are like very, very, you know, socially relevant to you, which your brain tells you knowing about those will help me survive. And why is that, by the way? You might be curious, right? Why are we so interested in what like the pop culture does? What is hot and not? And it goes back to the village. Imagine there's a person in the village and he did something really, really, you know, remarkable, maybe remarkably bad. Oh, you know, this guy, yeah, I heard he killed his wife, and then, you know, he did this and that, and you know, if you hear that, why do you care? You care because you might not want this person to be around anymore, right? You want to be, oh, I want to know because it's going to help me, you know my place in the social system. It's going to help me know why this person maybe should be avoided, why I shouldn't trade with him, why it's dangerous to be around the person maybe. So it's like a social evolutionary thing, right? Again, it always comes back to that. And that's why these types of contents are very, very baity. And a lot of people are very, very, finding very, very hard to resist, you know, clicking and listening to that content. And it's also very engaging for that reason, because there is like an incentive to you to pay attention, to be there, right? And a lot, I mean, obviously most people don't realize the reason why they enjoy this type of content, but it's very easy to explain, and also it's very, very easy then for the content to evolve around, you know, this topic, which in my opinion is, in the age of internet and global society, often a very misleading, you know, product of a lot of like clickbait, you know, what do you call it, drama bait and whatever, and just like drama in general, right? A lot of just like easy content that is very, very interesting to everyone, because you basically are interested in it for the reasons I just mentioned, right? So it's like very natural that content creators then predominantly care about like reach, and maybe even they just like to talk about, because obviously being the guy that, you know, is like the trendsetter and just can, you know, influencer that has like the hot takes. Look, these people really like what I think and whatever. It's like a self-affirmation, right? I mean, Asmongold does a video and he talks about something. For him, probably feels good, even if there are a lot of idiots that don't agree with him. I mean, idiots, quote unquote, from his perspective. He will still feel good because a lot of people are listening, right? Just being heard feels nice. So that's why Asmongold probably also drifts more and more into the like, you know, like I just call it like the late game meta for a lot of big streamers, which is away from gaming and more into, you know, the drama news discussion thing, right? And obviously what we're doing right now is exactly that. So the irony is I'm doing what I just like, you know, said I think is bad, but I'm doing it from a different perspective, literally, because I'm trying to show why this discussion is interesting to a lot of people and why I think you can care less about those in most cases. There are very significant things you should care about, like things that will negatively affect long-term prospects for your hobby, for example. If there's like some kind of really big monetization shenanigans you don't understand or don't want going on, or if there's like, I don't know, new content direction which is really bad and you just want to talk about it, right? There's a lot of stuff we should talk about and which is really important, but the predominantly talked about stuff is really insignificant shit. Yeah, really, really insignificant shit. So just be mindful of what you actually, what you're, you know, emotionally invested into. Do I care if people hate on this game? Fuck no. What I care about is that there are people, and even that is just like, because what do I care, right? But what I care more about is literally that people will enjoy the game less because other people hate on it for no reason. It doesn't make the game worse, it doesn't change anything about the game, but it will change the perception of the game in the mind of people which might actually have enjoyed the game. That's why I always say when I want to play a game, I don't want to know shit about it beforehand, usually. I mean, this is an exception a little bit because obviously it's like a gacha game and you want to know if there's some kind of, you know, bullshit going on in the background, you know, like some kind of crazy monetization traps and like gating, whatever. It's really important. So gacha games definitely do warrant research. And when I go into another game, I want to go in blind. And there's the one reason: ignorance is nice sometimes. Being ignorant of things can be very, very nice. And there are a lot of examples in life which often also lead to this comparison between like childlike wonder and like realistic perspective from grown-ups, quote unquote, and the perceived happiness of certain things and whatever. Because the more perspective you have on something, the more you can see the flaws, right? If you know about frame pacing, you might be more prone to actually noticing that the game has bad frame pacing, right? If you don't know about frame pacing, you might never realize, you just might not really care or whatever. And that's why usually when there's like a new game, I'm not interested in the criticism at all. I'm also not interested in like the positives, but the positives I don't mind, right? If you read positives before playing a game, you will be more positive in the game. You're going to be positively biased. But if, for example, someone points out an immense flaw in the logic of the game, which breaks everything down and everything's just shit if you know it, but you wouldn't have found out yourself, it would be amazing not to know it, right? So not knowing can be very, very nice for enjoyment. Because if everyone points out flaws in something, which is okay to do, but if you go in with all the flaws in mind, you won't see the good stuff sometimes because you're going to be so annoyed by the things that are broken. Yeah, so I think it's very, very important to realize that often in video games, you know, you're going to be confronted with a lot of... no game is perfect, right? You're going to be confronted with valid criticism for every single game you're going to play, and knowing that criticism might not make the game better. It's very important for the devs to get the criticism though at the end, but during your playtime you should, in my opinion, not care about the criticism from others until you're finished yourself. It's okay to validate your own criticism. If you don't like something and you go online, oh, you also think this is shit, that's perfectly fine. But if you don't find it yourself, don't look for it, right? Don't look for negativity for no reason. That's my core advice when it comes to how you should go about playing games. Is enjoy them as much as you can, and a big part of that is literally in the age of internet, don't find the negative things about it for no reason. Because you might play the game then and just think, oh yeah, that's stupid, right? So yeah, that's my advice. Just enjoy games as much as you can, and a big part of that is not engaging in like social media or social discussions, reviews, whatever, with games you want to play anyway, especially free-to-play games. Free-to-play games, I mean, this one you should research the monetary aspects for sure. And maybe even if you don't want to invest time, right, for time reasons, you can also research. But don't try to nitpick the details you might not even care about before you even play the game. You can name me any game, I will shit on your game if you want to. I can shit on any game. I can shit on Elden Ring, I can shit on Zelda Breath of the Wild, I can shit on Mario, I can shit on maybe Mario's kind of harder already, but there's a few that are very sound, I guess. I can shit on Counter-Strike, I can shit on Valorant, I can shit on Overwatch, I can shit on Fortnite, I can shit on Minecraft, I can shit on all your games if you want to, right? Because every game is flawed and not perfect. So if I want to phrase it very negatively and bias you negatively, I can negatively bias any fucking game in existence if I want to. Because none of these are perfect games. And then you can argue they're the only really quote-unquote games close to perfect are super simplistic games, maybe like Tetris or Pong or whatever, right? They're so simple that there's literally nothing to, it's so easy to see it's perfect, right? In a way, quote-unquote perfect. So yeah, obviously also Tetris has problems, but you know what I mean. The simpler, the easier it is, because no human mind is able to construct a highly complex product like a game in perfection. AI is going to be able to do it way better than us, and we're going to see how shit our games work compared to that. But the goal is to have fun, so why care about that, right? Why care about the shitty details? I'm not going to be here preaching to you guys, oh yeah, if you don't play on a Quantum Dot 240 Hz OLED, your games look like shit. Oh, and also, you're on a mobile device? Well, then you only have 30 FPS, that's bad. I'm going to talk about it because for me, from my perspective, it's important that it's supported. I'm never going to shit talk people having less, options to play their games. It's like, I could imagine a system that makes this one look like shit too, right? A fully immersed, like augmented reality or virtual reality style gameplay where at least you feel like in the game and it looks like amazing, whatever, right? I could imagine a lot of great things which I don't have right now, but that is not very productive from an enjoyment perspective. Always thinking about the things you don't have, right? So just enjoy what you have, and if you can't enjoy it, just move on. Yeah, that's basically my advice and take on the topic in general. And whenever you have these topics, just enjoy the games you can and move on. If there's valid criticism to be had, criticize in a nice, constructive way, and otherwise shut the fuck up and enjoy the games you enjoy. If you don't enjoy games, do something else, or if you don't enjoy anything, then you might have a problem, which is valid. There are people that often project their own personal problems onto stuff they're doing. The oldest example is people getting old and being like, oh, music isn't as good as it was. Oh, movies aren't as good as it was before. They were before. Oh, games aren't as good as they were before. Oh no, only shit's coming out. There are no good games anymore. You hear so many of these people say that. But from an objective perspective, gaming is as diverse and good as it ever was. There has never been a time where gaming was better than now. The reason you're not enjoying games anymore is for personal reasons, personal perceptive reasons. They might be very diverse. I can't actually tell you what exactly is your problem, but the problem is usually you. If everything is like the same as before and you don't enjoy it anymore, it's your perception of it, right? So yeah, I mean, a lot of people here are young, so who cares? The older you get, the more you're going to be faced with these people that are like, oh yeah, it's bad, I don't like it anymore. And sometimes it's true. And why I don't like the gaming versus music discussion that much is, I'm going to explain why. Because music and gaming is very fundamentally different. And that's a little thing I want to touch on about. And I think a lot of people in gaming use one thing to actually validate their opinion a lot. And they literally take these games here. Games that are like built around monetization systems and not monetization systems to support games, right? So it's like the inverse. And these games can be you can easily cynically say, yeah, gaming before wasn't about making microtransactions at every corner. I just bought the game and I played it, blah, blah, blah. And that's true. But these games still exist today. Elden Ring, a great example. Has a classic add-on called DLC Shadow of the Erdtree, but it's classic. It doesn't have microtransactions. You buy the game, play the game. One of the biggest games on the planet. It exists. I mean, it's rare, I guess, today to have a game without any of this shit. But still, that little aspect doesn't devalue the entire experience, right? It's just your mind thinking this detail is so important that gaming must be shit now, right? Because I can buy a skin in my video game, my single player video game, so the game has to be shit now. But the reality is usually there are other reasons why you think gaming is not fun anymore because you maybe have real life problems, or you notice you're getting older, suddenly you realize you're gonna die and all those things, right? There are a lot of reasons why you could get more depressed as time moves on, right? There are also a lot of reasons why you could get happier, but a lot of people do focus on the negatives, as already said. And there was another example I just wanted to make. I completely forgot about it. Oh yeah, music versus games. Why is music really something that will sound like shit to a lot of people? And that is very interesting, because the reason why music will sound bad to people that only listen to music from their childhood is very, very simple. Your brain is wired to like and enjoy the music you know as a child, as a teenager, and everything that does not comply to that will sound weird or bad or whatever, right? If you're gonna hear, I don't know, dubstep for the first time, if you're gonna hear funk for the first time, whatever, right? You're gonna be, oh my god, how could they do that to Beethoven? Oh my god, that sounds like they're violating. He would rotate in his grave if he knew what the fuck you're doing to his music. And oh my god, what is this? What, you know? And the funny thing is that it's a valid point for you, because your personal subjective perception of music, and everything is subjective, don't forget that, is indeed at odds with what is currently being produced. The mainstream music that is liked by a lot of people doesn't necessarily have to resonate with you, and also new niche music doesn't have to resonate with you. And it's also with food, for example. Food doesn't change that much, but a lot of people that only eat certain foods and then they have new foods, they don't enjoy them. They never have, their brain is not wired to enjoy new things. And that's also with games. A lot of people play games, and then there is a new game, and they're just like, why don't I just play Diablo 2 for the 100th time? I know what I'm getting, and the other game's like new, I need to invest enjoyment. Like, the exploration aspect is costly, right? From an evolutionary perspective, exploring new things is costly. When you come from Wuthering Waves or Genshin to this game, it costs you. It costs you mental investment, costs you learning new things. You're like, literally, your brain is like, I don't wanna. Most brains, right? I don't wanna. The brains also, oh, new could be cool, but a lot of brains are also, oh no, I'm already invested, I don't wanna. That's why when people get older, they kind of start to, think about replaying games more. They start to think about not investing too much time into certain things and whatever, right? It just gets a bit more limited in the, which is completely normal. You have your world model, it's built around that and that, whatever. And music, basically the only way to avoid it is very simple, as with all things, is constantly be exposed to change and new things, right? If our generation has one problem, it's basically that, our current world has one problem, is that the main skill you need to have to make the most of the world is literally, you have to be constantly open for change. And that is not a thing that's normal for humans. Humans are not meant for constant change. So there is like a psychological challenge which doesn't resonate well with a lot of people. Yeah, so I think it's really, really important to realize these things. And there was a kind of psychological deep dive into enjoyment of things. And in my opinion, the goal for your personal goal for life, the only one you should actually try to achieve, and this is not the answer to how to achieve it, but this is the goal you should have, is to make your life as enjoyable as possible. And if you want to, you can add on like making the life of the people you like as enjoyable as possible, right? Your goal should be to maximize enjoyment and then find the tools necessary for that. And I can definitely tell you, hating online on a game doesn't bring you a lot of enjoyment in the long run, right? Might bring you a short, haha, me, I shit on the game. But honestly, just, try to enjoy life as much as you can, the things you do as much as you can. And yeah, gaming is just a part of it, right? If gaming is your main source of enjoyment, that's fine. But the more layers you have and the more, depth you can actually, not depth necessarily, like width you basically have to your enjoyment, the better, right? I think it's really important to try to enjoy many things, try new things. And trying new things is important because it's very dangerous if you just rely on one thing to be stay happy, right? If there's like one thing you really like, and one day maybe it's not like there anymore, and you're gonna be like, oh, the world's shit now, right? I really liked, I don't know, tomato soup, and suddenly there are no tomatoes anymore, and you only ate tomato soup every day. Then your like culinary lifestyle is gonna be fucked. So maybe diversifying, not eating only tomatoes, only maybe some, I don't know, potatoes, carrots, whatever. Just add a little bit on it, right? The more you have, the better. The person that enjoys the most is the person that has the best life, in my opinion. Right? If you enjoy everything and everything makes you mega happy, 10 out of 10 brain, honestly. It doesn't matter if you're dumb as shit. You know, everything is determinism everywhere. I'm always arguing like you have a choice. You don't have a choice. So what I'm trying to do here is like, I mean, my deterministic path, basically, I'm doing here is literally trying to put information in your brain that helps you realize what is really important. Really important is that you enjoy yourself, and that includes being healthy, that includes people around you being happy and whatever, right? All these things that literally make you happy, right? Most people are not happy when the people around them are unhappy, right? When your girlfriend is unhappy, your boyfriend, your mother, your brother, if they're all super unhappy, you're probably not going to be happy if you care about them, right? So you do want to have a lifestyle that really maximizes the average happiness for you, and that usually also leads to, because you're a social being, where you're maximizing the happiness of people around you too. So yeah, I think that's a very positive thing. Yeah. And a lot of people just think about stupid goals, like, you know, the goal should be to get a house, get kids, get money. Those are all like means to an end. And the end is getting happy. And they might not be your means to the end, right? Just because everybody around you gets kids and you feel like you should have kids too, but you actually don't want any, why feel bad about it, right? If you don't want to have kids, that's perfectly fine, right? Or if you want to have kids, that's perfectly fine, because we're living in a culture where actually wanting kids is almost like seen as a negative for a lot of young people. And yeah, just, you know, you do you, as long as you're not hurting too many other people. I mean, you could argue that that is quote unquote irrelevant if that doesn't matter to you. So obviously that's not the advice I would give to random people, I guess. But the reality is, though, if that's true for you, you know, if everybody else suffering makes you happy, what can I say? Either you can realize that your suffering is less important, or your happiness is less important than the suffering of others for like objective reasons, and you know, you can help that, I guess. Or you just say, fuck it, my personal, I'm me, I'm the most important thing, fuck everyone else, right? Both points are valid from a society perspective. Obviously, we do enjoy the first one more, where you actually care about others more than yourself. But the reality is, nobody can blame you for those things, right? Really hard to finger point at people that do very bad things because they make them happy, because they make other people unhappy about that, and we should do that and protect society. But the reality is, from their perspective, it might have been the good call, right? From their perspective, yeah. So the reality is just be fucking try to be fucking happy however you can. And you know, you might be saying, oh, it's so difficult though, what do I need to do, right? What is your advice? What is this random guy on the internet, he just tells me to be happy, but you know, I really am trying, you know, I'm playing games, I'm trying to get a girlfriend, I'm working hard to get more money, you know, so I can buy things. You know, I'm really trying to be mindful and think about what, you know, the things and whatever. You know, I'm trying to think about my problems that I can solve and whatever. I'm doing so much, but I'm not happy. Why am I not happy? And there are, unfortunately, a lot of reasons for that. And the main reasons are two. One of them is very unfortunate and will be very, very hard for you to get help with unless you really... there is like a medicamentation can help you, and that's literally if your brain is wired to be unhappy. And one of the prime examples for that in the streaming scene was Wreckful. He had a very, very severe like mental disorder, and that is definitely something you should get treated ASAP if possible. Unfortunately, it's not always very good and very possible, but that's unfortunately something you can't do anything about that easily, right? And then there's the other, I would say, more common thing, and that is caused by the environmental effects on you. and your perceptions of them. Obviously the perception, right? And that, I think, is one thing you can work on easily. And I'm saying easily because it doesn't require you to do anything but use your brain. And not in a big brain way. You don't have to think a lot, you don't have to do a lot. It is literally you see something and there might be a lot of thoughts that pop up, right? There might be a lot of emotions, negativity, positivity, whatever. And you want to find out what it is in the moment that makes you unhappy. And it might be something big like, oh, I just lost my girlfriend, or oh, somebody I loved, I died. Okay, and these are things you have to acknowledge that are very bad. You should grieve, you should process these emotions. If they're really bad, there's no other way. And then there's small things. I'm annoyed by this. I'm annoyed by this. Oh, this guy just drove like an idiot. This one there and this there, and you know, I'm just sitting here, I'm not enjoying myself and whatever. And then in those moments you're not enjoying yourself, try to find the reason why, like small things, like just try to listen, right? Why am I not enjoying myself right now? What should I be doing? Should I be playing ZZZ instead of talking about random shit? Is that where I'm not enjoying myself? No, I'm not enjoying myself, but just like that, right? And then there are the moments where you're just neutral. And then try to think positive. And that sounds so cliche, but it's so important. Just try to remind yourself in moments where you're neutral or maybe drifting towards getting like whatever. Hey, actually, tonight I'm gonna have a great dinner. Oh, I'm playing a video game on an amazing system. It's running perfectly. My screen looks amazing. It's, you know, it's objective. I'm in an objectively good situation. Nobody's gonna kill me tomorrow. I don't have to worry about food, you know. And, you know, once the exam is done, I can hang out with friends and all those things, right? Just think about the positive aspects, because you can always find negatives and positive in everything. Literally everything you do will be dividable into positive and negativity. And people that are more happy, I tend to believe, are the people that cherry pick positivity. And that, you might say, is cheating. I can see positivity in everything, but it's objectively shit. Yeah, but it might be true, but the reality is, it doesn't matter. What matters is what you subjectively perceive it to be. It could be the worst thing in the world. If you're able to cope with it and find even a sliver of positivity, you fucking won, right? If you can see something positive and something very negative and find, like, you know, like a reason why it's positive, even if it's not the dominant, you know, thing that's relevant, it still might help you mentally to cope with things way, way better. Just finding the cranny of enjoyment and positivity, even in bad moments or not amazing moments. You might be waiting in a line, just enjoy maybe the scenery, right? You're waiting in a theme park and it's taking so long. You can maybe just, you know, look at the scenery, enjoy the environments, maybe, you know, just think about things you didn't have time to. Just use the time productively in a way that you feel better about, right? Just try to think, hey, yeah, instead of just being here, I'm so annoyed that I'm waiting. I'm so annoyed that I'm waiting. I'm so annoyed that I'm waiting. Ah, fuck this queue. It's so long. I'm so annoyed that I'm waiting. Right? You can think like that, obviously. It's just going to make you feel worse, right? Just look at the sky, enjoy the clouds, enjoy looking into the sun and getting blind. No, I'm joking. Don't do that. Enjoy, you know, maybe the people you're there to have a nice conversation. You know, just like use the time in a good way. The reason why your brain tends to want you to feel bad about like waiting, whatever, is because your brain punishes you for wasting your time. Boredom is the waste brain of telling you, hey bitch, get fucking productive, give me food, get me food ready, get a partner, whatever, do the fucking evolution shit, build a shelter, you fucker. You know, that's what your brain's trying to tell you at all times, right? When you're getting bored. The main reason you want to fight against that is basically you don't want your brain to think a good situation is negative for no reason, right? You don't have to worry about food because you're waiting in line at an amusement park, right? Food is not a concern. You don't need to build shelter. You don't need to find a partner in that moment. All you need to do is wait for enjoyment. So use that time and tell your brain, hey, bitch, it's okay. We're waiting. Enjoy the view, bitch. I'm looking at the sky. I'm thinking about stuff I like. And, you know, I'm just like trying to be positive about it. And there are people that are where it comes very natural, but it's actually also very natural to be negative, right? And like being pressured by your brain into doing something else. So yeah, that's why it's really important in times where like the natural, lifestyle doesn't really align anymore with the reality you live in, right? That an office job is not going hunting for food, it's not like scavenging or something like that, right? It's literally just like sitting in front of a screen and doing maybe very repetitive, maybe even meaningless tasks to you, right? The meaning for you maybe is just to get the money, whatever. But even then, just try to, enjoy those moments as much as you can still, right? It might be really hard, but if you just foster that positivity, one day your brain's going to be wired in a way that literally sees a problem, a situation, and it's going to be more positive about it. I guarantee you, it's going to happen one day. If you have a normal, average brain, and you literally you foster positive thinking, it will happen naturally. At the start, it's harder because you have to manually do it, but one day it's going to do click, and a lot of shitty situations will become way better. Yeah, it's literally like, you might say it's literally like inhaling real life copium at some moments, right? Because inhaling copium is not bad necessarily, right? If you're high on copium and happy because of that, that's great, right? Copium coughing can be very nice. As long as you're not being delusional, right? Just ignoring your problems is not going to be good, right? Just like if you have real problems, you obviously should deal with them, but still in a positive way, right? Realistic, positive way. Yeah, that's my advice. And enjoy games if you play them. If you don't enjoy them, stop playing them. Easy clap. It's really easy. It's really easy. It's a video game. Your brain might be saying, "Oh, I'm so invested in Genshin Impact." But if you log in every day and you fucking hate Genshin Impact, like you hate playing the game, fuck it. Fuck Genshin Impact. Fuck World of Warcraft. Fuck League of Legends. You might enjoy playing League of Legends 2 games a day. Oh, maybe 5 games a day is shit? Well, then just play 2 games. I know it's very difficult because these games are meant, and a lot of content is meant to be consumed over and over and over again. Like, just maximize your time and invest in blah, blah, blah. Everything's just like trying to fuck your brain, right? But you just have to realize, if it's not fun and it's not mandatory, fucking stop doing it. Easy, right? Easy. It's a video game. And there is a real value in minimizing your time with stuff you enjoy. Because some things, your brain might be wired in a way that it gets really bored after a while, but it might really enjoy it more if you don't play it like a streamer 10 hours a day. So just think about those things, right? Keep up the variety, keep fresh, play games you enjoy. If you don't enjoy them, don't play them, or stop playing them for a while until you enjoy them again. It's normal. And the brain is definitely like that because, for example, the reason why you might stop enjoying a game you liked playing before is because your brain is literally saying, hey, yeah, this was a good investment, but how about we go do something more productive? I don't feel like we're getting enough hot dogs and, I don't know, churros out of this, right? The rewards don't seem appropriate anymore. Yeah, the meaning of every reward is kind of meaningless for me now. So the brain just got accustomed to the reward system, right? And then maybe it's time for a new one. It's time for a break or whatever. And also be aware of the reward systems in games can actually alter the reward system in reality. Getting a 5-star in Genshin might feel as good as getting a new car, which is weird because a new car is usually way more valuable and impactful to your life, but your brain is stupid. So just be mindful of those things, right? Which is, by the way, a great thing if you can actually get the same enjoyment out of something that is basically nothing price-wise compared to a car. But it's still important to realize that. And why is it important? Because getting a 5-star in Genshin might be as much enjoyment as getting a new car or acing an exam, but it's not that much work. It's not that inexpensive. So your brain is going to be, hey, wait, I can go for this for the enjoyment, and then it devalues all the hard real life work you have to do to actually get the same reward. So that's why you really have to be mindful about how your personal brain works, right? How do I feel about it? If I play the entire game, a video game, am I feeling like life is such boring and colorless, or do I really feel like, yeah, it's still fun, right? If you have the problem that playing a lot of games makes you feel like real life is more boring, which is objectively, if you compare it, could be, right? You could say, yeah, it doesn't have as many rewards, it's not as colorful, it's not as action rich, right? It has like boring downtime and whatever. then you might say, yeah, that's true, but I want to remind you, and that's why it's so important, their life is meant for most people, most brains, right? They're like people like me that can be like 24/7, super focused on things and endless input. My brains can always cope, right? As far as so far in my life, I can always cope with endless 24/7 input. I don't mind, I enjoy it. But there are a lot of moments where I think even I like it, even though I don't need it, I like it if there's not much going on. For example, when I go bouldering, what do? When I go bouldering, I jog there. I don't have music. I don't have my smartphone. All I do is I go jog there. The bouldering has music because it's like, you know, it's inside, whatever, but they have music. But I don't have a smartphone. I don't have any screens. I just boulder. And I run back with no music, right? And I think these moments are so precious, just like enjoying the moment, the present, right? What is happening, not the thoughts, right? And the older you get, the more meta thoughts you have, the more, you know, the more memories you have that can interfere, the more things can pop up, the worries about the future or whatever can always pop up, but definitely, you know, what you lose basically the older you get is the ability to just live in the moment if you're not careful about it. I think just live, and that's why games I think are great, because they actually require you to be in the game in the moment, because usually there's some kind of active prompt, but what it can lead to is you actually being very passive in real life as a result, because you don't have the game related stimuli to keep you engaged, right? You're not losing HP in your health bar, you're not getting chased, you're not, you know, competing, whatever, you're just being. And those are the moments where you can actually really try to have moments where you just focus on what is in front of you. So I think it's really important, not in front of you, also like listen and whatever. It's not meditating, but it's just like, you know, positive awareness of your existence. You know, that's like, I think the very important thing that a lot of people are losing by just endlessly scrolling in social media feeds, listening to garbage like this here. I'm joking. I do realize this. Obviously, what I would recommend, honestly, is even if you want to watch me or whatever, don't do it like 10 hours a day. Just watch me maybe for half an hour or something, right? Don't watch me for 10 hours a day. Fuck no, please no. Right? I mean, maybe better than watching XQC 10 hours a day, but better from not an entertainment perspective, but maybe from a, I guess, like information transfer perspective. But not to say XQC is dumb, but XQC is, it doesn't have a lot of knowledge, and he's not the most intelligent person. So I do think he has some good takes and whatever, but also he lacks a lot of basic knowledge and rationality at times, which can be entertaining, don't get me wrong, right? Not talking entertainment value, but even then you should watch XQC maybe for half an hour a day, right? Whatever you enjoy, that's what I'm trying to say. Enjoy it in moderation, and if you enjoy it a lot, do keep do keep track about how it makes you feel, especially if you play League of Legends, Fortnite, Apex, whatever. Really, really look into, especially games that have like some kind of grind, ladder, or reward mechanic. Really, really keep in mind what exactly it is about that moment or situation you actually enjoy, right? So I think it's very, very, very... Oh, why is this? There are like different buttons that do things. Great. Interesting. Yeah, my phone just went off, so it will be seeing chat in 5 minutes again. I forgot to put the charger in. Yeah, that's what I'm basically trying to get at, right? So enjoy things in moderation to your personal standard. And that could be playing the game all day, every day. Or they could literally be doing something for half an hour. And yeah, the lifestyle you're getting lived by all these people, including me sometimes, right, when I stream really long time, is definitely not the way that is appropriate for everyone, right? Just thinking back in my youth, what makes me really happy is to know that when I was young, I was playing outside so much. You know, and that's when I think about my niece, and I'm like, she has such a different childhood, but not because she's playing video games or whatever. She was in childcare. Often during the day, and she had a lot of social interactions and whatever, but she never had this self-exploration phase where she went outside alone. And I guess that's what really I think is fun, you know, was a good fun like foundation for the way I think and the way I act, I guess. is because I was like so much outside with friends, but also often alone, just exploring the wilderness, right? And I think these things really, really are cool in a way, right? They really are an experience I would never want to miss. And if I ever have kids, I want to make sure they're going to be able to do the same, right? That they're going to be able to have a quote unquote free childhood from all those, I would say, digital boundaries we've built around society these days, right? Yeah, from my perspective, that would have been something that I would wish for every child, but obviously also having social time and, you know, your childcare can be nice, but it's always supervised, right? I think unsupervised exploration can be very, very valuable to children. And then you might think, yeah, but is that realistic historically? And the answer is definitely yes, I think it is. I think it's very realistic because imagine your parents and you want to survive. Usually what you're going to do, obviously you're going to stick close to your parents, but there are also going to be moments where your parents can't take you along. They're going to go hunt, whatever. And, you know, they're just going to leave you alone and play. And self-exploration in play is fine, but also in nature is really good, right? So self-exploration in nature, obviously you should be careful about where you let your child play, right? If there are like roads and, you know, maybe dangerous animals, whatever, you do have to take care of that. But in general, I think like at a certain point, it's also important to let your child play alone and also explore the world on its own terms. And obviously it's not possible in a big city, for example. So I think it's also where you are. But yeah, so I really think that being close to nature as a child definitely helps you ground you in reality way more than, I mean, I also played a lot of games as a child, don't get me wrong, but I started very focused on nature. And I also had like this daily ride to school with my bike over fields and, you know, next to a forest and whatever. So it was always like nature, right? I think that is one of the most important things that I'm currently missing. And I know that I'm missing, but I don't have the opportunity because I'm in a city. Is a daily driver through nature, right? A daily, maybe even like way to work, whatever, through nature. And that's one of the things I really, really hope I can change when I move. It's basically find a location where I can combine like the, you know, the nice, you know, opportunities for entertainment of a city combined with the freedom of nature, basically, right? It's harder and harder these days, but I think that would be very nice to still get as a part of my life. Yeah, but everybody has to find their own things. But I still think, obviously, once you're like older, you're literally gonna be already influenced so much by what your parents and what your environment did to you that it can be very, very hard to, you know, find your personal, not optimal, but a very nice personal style. Is it worth playing? Is there a time gate? So, sorry for not answering because my phone just went off. Hey, Tony, by the way, I didn't see in the name. I have no idea if it's worth playing for you, honestly. Is there a time gate? So, yes, there are limited time banners. There's FOMO, there's gacha, there's all those things. But in general, I don't think there is a reason to play the game right now over later. I think obviously the sooner you play, the more you're gonna have, quote unquote. But I don't think the game is gonna be unplayable if you start in a year or something. Yeah, so I think the game is definitely, you know, very much playable in limited quantities. The game does reward daily logins. It rewards, you know, like all the FOMO stuff by giving you more stuff. But I don't think it's relevant because the game is going to be very easy. If it's like anything like Genshin, you're not going to be missing out on more than maybe a few characters you might have liked or whatever. But it's not. I don't think it's a big deal. I think you should ever play a game that forces you to play it anyway. If you feel like you're being forced to play a game, reevaluate maybe. So I mean, I was very, you know, I was thinking about, do I enjoy daily logins in a game? And if I stop enjoying it, I stop playing the game, right? As soon as I notice that I'm just doing it for the sake of logging in and I don't enjoy it, I'm done. But usually I do enjoy the daily logins and gacha games because, you know, it's like going to a casino and, and gambling. I don't know, literally, it feels okay for me, right? It's not like, oh my god, if I only did something else with my time, right? If only I was playing Elden Ring right now, which I am still, by the way, just off stream casually. Like 30% brightness boost with the firmware is like so nice. I didn't know actually I wanted it until I realized it was there. It was so pretty before and now it's even better. I'm like, okay, guess there's always room for improvement. So this is the daily shit here. Oh, the skull emoji. Is it good? This good? I don't know. It's 3 skull bones. Triple boner. And then they're like the news stuff here. Is there anything of value in this? I mean, this could be AI generated mumbo jumbo anyway. To be honestly, probably it is AI generated. They just have some kind of proofreader, which is fine. Yeah, I don't know. Is this gameplay relevant? That's what I'm gonna try to find out. The Bangbu Boeing virus. Yeah, so I actually don't know if it's actually a thing. Oh man, today I continued watching Jobless Reincarnation Season 2, and it's so cute. If you watched it, you know why I'm talking about it. There's an elf in that. Isn't she cute? I really like the NPCs in this one. Okay, but let's continue playing the game. I mean, start playing the game. We actually exactly have like 30 minutes left of stream, so enjoy this very, very gameplay-oriented stream today. But I think it had, if you're one of the people that are on the fence for playing the game, I think this stream might have done more for you than actually just playing the game. Because I literally am trying to give you a new perspective on what people are shitting on the game for, right? Which might influence your perspective way more than actually me telling you, yeah, I like the game, right? Because I already told you that yesterday. I like the initial impression. One objective criticism I have is Mihor is fucking rich, and they should not have unvoiced text in the game. That's my opinion. That is one objective criticism I can, you know, throw at the game, and already did yesterday, right? I'm not simping for it. I'm just being realistic, right? And it's realistic to not shit on the game right now, because it's good so far. Okay, Internaut. Are you new proxy or just starting out? Blah blah blah, from either ability test to the late card resources, everything part unique, new proxy, stay tuned for Internaut benefit. Okay, blah blah blah. Okay. Event has been unlocked. Why is this right, Bell? How can you allow yourself to sing so low? Have you forgotten about the store opening? You need to stop. Let me watch it for just a little longer. She's like completely obsessed with the cat. Because that's what I mean. You could see this world and be like, oh, in Genshin I can climb. In Genshin, the world is bigger, blah, blah, blah. But, or you could just walk around and be like, oh, cute cat. Oh, look, this looks cute and nice. Right? Oh, it looks like I'm in Osaka in Japan. Looks nice, right? Just enjoy what you have, man. Right? Obviously, it's not an expansive open world like Genshin and doesn't want to be, right? I'm not going to play Persona and shit on it for not being Breath of the Wild. Yeah, it kind of feels bad being devs on these games, man. Just having fucking pointless arguments about what the game doesn't even want to be. Like, fucking stupid. For the time being. A familiar young lady suddenly storms through the door while you're discussing the restocking plan. Hetty. You guys are getting new stock, that's great. I've already watched every videotape in the store 10 times. 10 times? It's me, Hetty, your super loyal customer. Though I often complain the video store always has the same videotapes, do they really want to stay open? I still find myself coming back here because your taste in movies aligns so much with mine. Looks like you guys are planning to reorganize. Use the business bullshit answer. Before we decide to run this business on a go with the flow policy, but I guess it's time to we take this seriously here. Mm-hmm. Wait, she's offering promotion. You look kind of cute. You could go on Pornhub and wear our brand clothing while fucking okay, don't sweat it. I'll show you how. Oh yeah, are you Bangbot? I'm sorry, Bangboo. Master 18. She's gonna work for free for us. Easy clap. She's simping for a store. Whittle finger. Why does it feel like 18 is even more reliable than us? I mean, she's 18, we can put her in porn, right? That's what her name stands for. Coffee mate. I really love the background art here. Do we have some daily shit we can do actually? I don't know how this works in the game. Is there like some daily commission? Huh? Final callback. Audition stage. Alan. What? Oh, is this like some kind of test stuff? And master tape? Just like that? Oh, these are daily things? Oh, ooh, there they are. I thought there was like some kind of 100 wishes in the game or something. I mean, I guess combining the... You get so many wishes. Holy. Holy, maybe, see, that's what I call FOMO working out for us. Okay, just sorry, just explain a friend of mine why you want to have like different brightness. So a lot of people are like, how bright should my screen be? The answer is, first of all, it's personal preference, but the real answer is it should be subjectively fitting to the scene. So if you're in a video game, how bright should it be? Well, if you're outside in a video game and it's a bright sunny day, it should look like a bright sunny day. Obviously, you're not going to match the billion nits from the sun, so don't get me wrong, it's not about like matching 16 billion nits or whatever the sun has. It's about, which is why you shouldn't look into the sun, because, well, yeah, that's something nice. I always wanted to say this. You might be wondering, why shouldn't we look into the sun? It doesn't look that bright, does it? Right? Yeah. And the reason why you don't want to look into the sun is not because it doesn't look that bright, because it's way brighter than you can actually see. That's the main reason. Because the brightness you perceive is not correlating with the nits of the brightness source. At a certain point, it will be the same brightness that is perceived, but it will be extremely damaging because it's way brighter than you can actually perceive, right? That is why looking into the sun is so bad and doesn't look maybe as bad as it is, because it doesn't feel as bright. You know it's bad, right? It feels bad for you, but it doesn't look brighter than you actually think, because your brain has a maximum brightness too that it can perceive, and your sensor is too, right? So that is why it's super important to realize that the perceived brightness is way different from the actual nits that are out there. So a game can feel as bright as day depending on the environmental brightness too, like how open, you know, your eyes are, like, you know, how you focus on the individual bright elements, whatever, that can change a lot. So I think the most important thing is that it feels like the appropriate brightness for the daytime that's intended. And then you have highlights that can be way brighter, and like darkness is dark as basically black as possible, right? For the contrast. So highlights can be way higher than the average pixel level, and the darkness can be very dark. So your goal is basically to reproduce the sentiment, the feeling of having appropriate lighting, which is why it's important that your screen can actually have a good full screen brightness. And then the highlights should be higher to like simulate like something like the glare of the sun. Obviously it's 1000 nits, it's not even nearly close to the sun, right? But it feels almost the same from a sensory input perspective, which is why we don't need a crazy bright, we don't need 16 billion nits. We just need maybe to really emulate it and get a glare, I guess you maybe would need, depending on the environment, I guess, up to maybe 4000 nits maybe, right? 4000 nits would be super bright in most situations. And for smaller highlights, I guess you would even need even more, because like, you don't have the same surface area, so obviously it's going to be a bit less bright, right? So for very small highlights, I guess you do need something like 10k nits maybe, but that's like depending on the viewing distance and the pixel size and whatever. But still, I think like that's why we don't need that much, but that's why the way I think you should set up your screen is highlights as bright as you possibly can, unless they almost feel like blinding, and average pixel level according to what you think the scene should feel like. If you're outside in a sunny day in Horizon Forbidden West and it feels like you're in, it's like almost nighttime, or it's like really dawn, it's like dawn or dusk or whatever, and that doesn't feel appropriate, then your screen is too dark. And if it doesn't get bright enough for that to alleviate that problem, then your screen doesn't have enough brightness, right? But if it gets too bright, obviously you can turn it down, that's not a problem, but the goal should be for you to feel like it is appropriate. There is no other way to set any brightness. Every individual location, every room is individual, and you need to feel it out. There's nobody that can tell you 100 nits calibrated is perfect, 200 nits. That's not true for media. It might be good for office work, because there the goal is obviously you don't have a reference point, right? What do you want to achieve, right? So there, obviously there is like more of a maybe 100 nits or 80 nits is nice for you for the eyes. That obviously also depends on your environment, but there might be a goal you can achieve together with the environment. But for games, realistically, or movies, whatever, the goal is literally to replicate the feeling of being in the scene. And obviously you can alter your lighting to match that too. You have like your environmental lighting, but it's like not the main goal, right? The main goal is to use both tools together in unison to create the feeling of actually having the correct lighting, which is by far not as bright as outside, obviously, right? We have to realize that. And that's why also why if you're outside and gaming, you might have realized it looks pretty dim, right? So yeah, your environment should be a well-lit room, but not a too well-lit room too, because then obviously most screens won't keep up, and you're gonna have like a lot of glare, and you're gonna have a lot of issues. Hast du mit mir geredet, Muffin? Mit mir gerade geredet? Ja, als ich es mit der Sonne gesagt habe. Aber hast du meinen Punkt jetzt verstanden, oder? Also ich meinte, dass die Sonne 16 Milliarden Nits hat und yeah, that is also one of the reasons, by the way, why I don't do brightness changes in games, because it's not my job to make it visible to you. If your device can't make the game visible, it's your device, right? It's not. I should use the base calibration, and then you can use your device. Because if everybody does a calibration that's like just overblown bright, what are you going to end up doing? You're going to have to adjust your screen to the too bright image, right? It's not going to change anything. But whenever you can't see something on stream, it's your device that's too dark, especially if you're on a mobile device and the auto brightness is set very like non-aggressively. Especially when it comes to gaming and movie content, you might actually want to change it, right? The auto brightness has the target of actually making your UI and like maybe browser stuff visible or TikTok feeds, whatever. But if you really want to play a game, whatever, you might actually need to manually set the brightness to something more appropriate if it's not like really well managed, because they like to save battery. They're like usually pretty conservative about making it too bright. But usually optimally, the auto brightness off a screen would do exactly what it described, right? Yeah, but it's like, since also your perception is a bit subjective, you should always make it look good to you, right? If you really enjoy dark games and you like it, even though it doesn't feel, you know, like you're actually in a bright day there, or you really don't like darkness because you're afraid or whatever, you want to see more and you want to make it brighter, that's perfectly fine. It's perfect preference. That's why I prefaced it with that. The actual goal, if you want to have the quote-unquote optimal setting, is basically that, what I described. Okay, really cool though that we can now partake in these additional events. I don't get it. Unlock Shiyu defense after beginning main story chapter 2. Wait, we get her for free too. Okay, that's interesting. Rookie on the Road, Starlight Engine, trial number 3. What? The trial number 3. I don't know what the fuck is going on here. Oh, hey, if I can add drops as tag, and potentially more people would click on the channel then. Right, doesn't Twitch have the drops tag anymore? I noticed that, by the way, when I was looking for drops myself, that there actually is no more drops tag. So they removed that? Why would they do that? That's weird. I know there's a notification if you click the channel that there's drops enabled, but it's actually interesting. Yeah, a good point that you make there. Could add the drops tag, but the reason why I'm not going to do it is because I'm going to forget to remove it when I'm playing a game where I might not have drops, and then I'm going to lie to people, because some drops are like not every content creator gets them. So if I forget the tag, or just like it's a misleading tag, maybe people might think I have drops if I don't have any. So I prefer people not finding me unless people clicking and not being misled, right? Because I forget to remove the tag, but it would be optimal. Thanks for pointing that out, actually. Yeah, that is a very good point. Yeah, and in the future, if I do play, because we're not only going to be streaming for I think another 8 minutes. I'm so sorry I didn't play the game at all today. I don't know what the fuck's today. What's wrong today? Yeah, I don't know. Just like kind of, you know, just got kind of not triggered, but I guess I got triggered into talking about it. The entire like discussion about good and bad games and perception of it. Okay, so there are a lot of things here. 38 days. So this is just basically the that stuff here. So basically play more, get more. I haven't figured out what is basically the daily requirement you have here. What is the daily mission thing? Is it this one? I assume this is the daily mission stuff, right? It has like the 5 tax stuff. This looks like the daily driver. And then there's also like errands, training, and challenges. I think errands is probably going to be where you can send your staff to do certain things, but they're not available right now. So I think this is the daily stuff, which is probably going to be impossible for us because we didn't unlock the locations yet, right? So this is, I guess we should probably play more until we get those. Yeah. But unfortunately, we only have like 7 minutes of stream left because I do want to watch Dan Giesling fight Lion guy in Elden Ring. And yeah, while he does that, I'm gonna do something else in the meantime. It's like my quote-unquote background stream. And we might actually end up thinking about it. He's gonna stream for quite a while, so I don't even know if I'm gonna watch it entirely, but thinking about it. Because later we're gonna go bouldering, I'm gonna go bouldering, and yeah, so maybe today is actually a really short stream, but what I can promise is that next week we're gonna have hopefully longer streams, especially in the evening. Copium. No, we today is unfortunately a bit weird when it comes to the timing. Okay, now that we're back in business, let's get our tapes sorted. Let's start with picking some tapes for display. Oh, there is some kind of management aspect. I mean, I saw the different daytimes, so I wonder how this is gonna progress. Let's choose the most popular genres to attract more customers. Find the right videotapes. Define right. I'll make sure to organize the rest of the shelves as well. So we have adventure, fantasy, and comedy. Pick out matching videotapes. This videotape should create a lot of buzz. Okay. Down to the final shelf. Let's pick this one as a final tape. I don't know. I'm gonna say it. I don't like the tutorialization where the game forces you into actions, because I think that doesn't teach you how to actually perform the action. It just shows you that they can be done, but then when you do them yourself, you have no idea what the fuck you're actually doing. So I think this strict tutorialization doesn't really. It gets the job done in a way that you do it once, but it doesn't really help you doing it again, in my opinion. I really don't like this forceful way they just did it, because I didn't learn shit, right? I have no idea what I did here. 110 per hour, 62 people per hour. Wait, is this Dave the Diver actually? Operating with integrity, every Denny counts. Currently open. Business performance. Okay. Marshal in customer traffic mission reward. Okay, I have no idea what we're doing here. Aiden looks so cool when it's promoting the store. With 18's help and our dedicated management, we'll definitely see more and more customers coming to the store. Billy, who's Billy? I'm still the first person in the Cunning Hairs to have your new contact information since you changed your account. Oh wait, is Billy not the guy with the mask? He has a different icon here. Want to hang out. I do wonder if this is going to end up being like Persona. It kind of feels like, from a structural perspective, putting Persona into it would be kind of smart, but I don't know actually. Godlike fingers. Yeah, so we're like literally doing nothing did nothing today. I'm sorry about that, but there has to be the just chatting stream that's tagged as a game from that every now and then, because I forgot to, I mean, quote unquote, forgot to change the category. Because I think we did talk about this game quite a bit.
どうしたのビリーやけに興奮してるけど。
まあな、久々に店長とゲームできんだぜ。そりゃ興奮もするだろう。ところで聞いたか店長、ゴッドフィンガーのリニューアルオープンで新作が2台も導入されたらしいぞ。そのうち
2-on-2 co-op. Wait, how does co-op work with PvP? It's called PvP, bro. I hope it's not real PvP though. That would be kind of worrying. I really don't like PvP in gacha games. I'm very, very, very anti pay to win PvP, so I really, really hope this game doesn't have it. It always feels bad to have it, right? Because yeah, just ignore it or whatever. But I think even it being there is like, oh, you know, there's something you're not gonna do, and there might be just it being there feels bad. You obviously don't have muscle memory for combat not yet, so it's gonna take a little bit. Right, is there actually a forward and backwards button when swapping characters in for the smartphone device? Or can you only swap in one direction? Because I feel like there was only one icon on the screen. I think the icons kind of match the icons you can see on a smartphone. Enter golfing and play video games with Billy. I would love to. Would actually love to. But for today, like I said, it's going to be a shorter stream. And we might actually stream later again. But now I'm definitely going to go and chill and watch a little bit of Dan Giesling. So we could actually rate him, but I don't actually know if I want to rate him. I'm gonna cringe. If you're a small streamer and you rate big ones, because I mean, I don't know, it's kind of weird. Like, yeah, but in general, I will still recommend him if you like Elden Ring and if you like Suffering. He's doing a quote-unquote Suffercore playthrough where he's like an, I guess, pretty average Souls player that is doing a no-vig playthrough, and I guess also no scatter tree as far as goes for now. Yeah, I think he did it once, he might not do it again. Playthrough of the Elden Ring DLC, and he will die thousands of times at the same boss, so if you're into just like chilling and watching a person die over and over again, which is kind of a nice background noise to me at least, yeah, I would recommend checking him out at least. It's also family friendly, unlike this stream. He doesn't swear, he sometimes might talk about these topics, but he will not do it in a like family unfriendly way, right? It's a very casual and relaxed stream, and yeah, so Dan Giesling is what I'm gonna watch now a little bit while I'm doing something else in the meantime. I'm gonna solve, I guess, some problems and stuff like that. And yeah, as always, thanks for watching, and you know, enjoy the game, and you know, spread positivity and not negativity if there's nothing really serious you want to discuss, right? You can always go and criticize the game nicely, but if you just want to hate on the game, you know, why even waste your time, right? Just play Wuthering Waves or just play Genshin if you enjoy that more, which are all good, probably good games, right? Wuthering Waves I didn't play. Genshin definitely is a good game, but maybe for me personally has gotten a bit worse over time just because of like the content disparity, I guess, between the launch version and now, because you have so much stuff which seems so quote-unquote meaningless, too much just cutscenes, too many gimmicky mechanics, whatever, right? Just my personal thing, right? Why I can't enjoy Genshin too much right now. But yeah, and also doesn't have 60 FPS, you know, whatever, but it's still a good game. I think Genshin definitely is a fun game to just, you know, play a bit. But now, obviously, recommending Genshin for a new player, it is a very, very long game by now, right? If you really want to be up to date in Genshin, I don't know how that feels, right? But you're still gonna have a good time on the way. But if your goal is to be up to date and you know, just start the game right now and catch up, it's gonna be really rough, to be honest. Yeah, catching up in Genshin is a hard time. It's almost hard enough to keep up with the current content, right? It almost feels like too much meaningless stuff has been added that is just like watering down a little bit of the core focus. But that's just me, right? And also, obviously, after playing it after so many hours, there's like some kind of like, you know, just like fatigue that sets in anyway. But definitely for me, it was like the MiHoYo basically not caring too much, right? If they ever added more than 60 FPS, who knows? That might have been for me, oh yeah, they do care, right? But they never added it, and they also never added controller support in the main menu. And yeah, just like small things, right? Small things that just give me the impression they don't care. And if they don't care, why would I care, right? Yeah, so I would be more optimistic about Genshin if they actually cared more, in my opinion, right? But it's still a fun and enjoyable experience. So if you enjoy Genshin more, definitely just play that, right? But if you enjoy this more, or just like to try it out, it's definitely good so far. I don't have any real big criticism so far, right? Beyond it being a gacha game, right? Which has like inherent criticisms and the censorship, right? These are two things definitely there. And maybe a bit more voice acting, right? These are the things I can talk about right now. But obviously, once we're done with the game, there's going to be a bunch more, because like I said, no game is perfect. But for now, definitely an enjoyable, casual experience. But I'm very early into the game, so definitely take that with a big grain of salt, right? But not this kind of salt you're going to find in people hating on the game. Yeah, but as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys hopefully tomorrow. I don't know how long, but hopefully tomorrow. And yeah, otherwise, enjoy your time and enjoy gaming, and don't play games you don't enjoy. I mean, at least, you know, it's good. Well, you know, the one thing I did appreciate is that people were like, yeah, I stopped playing and I didn't enjoy it. And that's good, right? If you didn't enjoy it and you stopped playing, you did the right thing. At least that's nice, right? That doesn't mean your opinion on the game is more valuable than the opinion of someone that played 2 hours. But if you didn't feel the game and you don't want to get into it, that's fine. And then there might be many reasons for that beyond the game being good or bad. Okay, but as always, thanks for watching.